Sponsor SNJ Radio. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music. And shout out to KCAA for allowing us to have this radio show and having you guys listen to us. We really appreciate the audience and all those listeners out there. Stay tuned because Kyle is taking charge tonight.
I am.
We don't have a guest, and that is A-okay because this gets for you guys to know us a little more, a little better, and to pick our brains. So if you guys are driving, stay tuned. If you guys are listening at home, thanks for being supportive, and let's just get this show on the road. You guys are with us for about 50 minutes.
Yep.
Let's see what we can talk about. What's the first thing we're talking about today?
The first thing we're talking about is, first, if you guys have any topics you guys like to discuss, you can call in at 888-909-1050. That is 888-909-1050.
Hey, we should do a weekday or a week update.
We should.
Yeah.
You mean like SNL?
but our own like lives.
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, I don't pay attention to the news, or I'm not really on social media, unless it's like business or even like stuff about this show. So I honestly don't know what's going on. Like I think, we all heard about like the Chinese balloon.
Yeah. One over Montana.
But I have no opinion on that because I have no
neither.
knowledge on that, right?
Yeah, me neither.
The Super Bowl, when is that, next week?
Yeah, next weekend.
Okay, who's playing?
We got the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Hey, let's go.
Who do you guys think is going to win? Call in.
Hey, yeah, whoever calls in, I'm down to make a bet. $20, no biggie. Let's go Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Chiefs.
You got Eagles or what?
Actually, I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
All right, so
I'm
you
going to go
want
with
to
the
double
Chiefs.
it? You want to double it, $20?
All right, let's double it.
Okay, the first caller to call in and say we're going for the Eagles, all right, call in at 888-909-1050, and that would automatically put you in for a bid of $40 against the Chiefs.
Okay, there we go.
No? Well, call us off the air. We'll talk about it. All right, so what's going on?
Well, first, I know you're asking me about Molly.
Yes.
If anyone forgot or didn't know, I'm taking care of Molly right now. She is my dog, and Timmy and I have custody.
Okay. What kind of dog is she?
She is a border collie mixed husky.
Right. Beautiful dog. Black and
Super
white pattern, blue eye, right?
Destroyed the yard, causing my dad grief.
No way.
Yeah. She's teething, so she's eating like everything.
Oh my goodness.
She tore up all my flowers, and my dad doesn't care because his flowers are fine.
Well, that's fine. Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why Kyle and Timmy, well, Kyle has the dog, is because when it wasn't for free, like some lady or someone was like handing out for free or something.
Okay, yeah. Let me tell you the full story.
Okay.
So I went to go get my dog her shots at the Humane Society in San Bernardino, and Timmy came with me because I have a small dog named Abby, and she's a Chihuahua mixed dachshund, and she hates car rides. So I have to have someone or two people hold her while we drive.
Two people hold her?
Sometimes.
Wow. Okay. I would just throw her like in a gym bag or something.
She like starts like yapping and like crying, going crazy, scratching you. She hates car rides. So Timmy held her, and so we got to go get her some shots, and then on the way out, actually, there was a lady. She was like, "Hey, I have 2 husky puppies," and Timmy was thinking about getting another dog for Nova.
Right. Nova is my mom's dog.
Yeah, who's alone right now. So Timmy wanted Nova a companion, so that way they could both live longer. And so Timmy was like, "Yeah, sure. How much?" And she's handed Timmy the dog. He's like, "There you go." And then they like drove off. And so, yeah, so Tim and I went to Petco, got her some things, and then Timmy took care of her. Well, fast forward 2 months. This dog got kicked out of your parents.
Yes. Can I explain why?
Let's go.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys were there for all our long-lasting fans that we love and appreciate. We had a dog trainer on the show,
Yes.
and we asked him like, "Hey, so we have this dog, but my mom has chickens, right? Who like roam free around the backyard." He's like, "Dude, that's not a good idea because that dog is gonna want to like cattle them, and chickens don't cattle, right? You
Yeah.
can't control these chickens. The chickens are just gonna fly everywhere, so it's gonna irritate the dog." So my mom calls me one night. She goes, "Hey, your dog killed one of our chickens. It like ripped its
Oh,
head
man.
off." And I was like, "No, mom, it didn't. Like raccoons, they do that. They rip chicken's head off and then like throw the body or whatever, and like this and this, right?" She's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure." And then like the following day, they see Molly just attacking these chickens, and they're like, "Nope, gotta go." Right? So Kyle and Timmy had to take the dogs to my parents' house. But the funny thing is, the reason why I bring this up is because when we took Molly to our house,
Yeah.
she regurgitated a chicken head.
Yeah, that's right. Timmy was
Yeah,
telling me.
so I guess it was Molly.
And it freaked one of your roommates out, right?
Yeah.
And there was a whole big fiasco. The dog had to go. And it was perfect timing because we had just lost Shorty. And my dad needed another dog. He wasn't ready for another dog, but he definitely needed another dog. And Abby needs, to not be lonely. And so I was like, Timmy, you know what? She can stay with me. At the time, my dad was in Texas for a couple weeks. That's fine, and then we'll find her a home. So the here's where things go downhill. So the night Timmy brings her over, it's me, Timmy, our friend Alvin, Abby, and then Molly. And well, we're walking in the street because we couldn't walk on the sidewalk anymore. And a car comes and hits Molly and broke her back leg. And so I had to nurse her for about 12 weeks with a cast. Well, actually not a cast, it was a cone. Had to give her medication, and then when I was at work, Timmy would come and take care of her. And so we did that for about 12 weeks. My dad came home. He was like, "What the f is this dog?"
Because your dad was out of state, right? He was in Texas.
Yeah, he came home to like a cage and a dog. So he's
Oh,
like,
wow.
"What the heck?" And so I was like, "Oh, it's just gonna be for a couple weeks until we nurse her." Anyways, Molly fell in love with my dad.
Did your dad fall in love with Molly?
He has now. He has now.
Oh, okay.
But at first, it was a love-hate relationship. I was like, "Well, you know what? We've already put all this money to the dog."
No kidding. First day out, you got surgery and stuff.
Yeah, and so that that put Timmy and I out about $6,000, mostly Timmy. And we're like, yeah, there's no point in just if we sell the dog, we're gonna have losses anyway, and if we just give the dog away, then we're out $6,000. Might as well just take care of her. And so I explained that to my dad, and he's like, yeah, well, that makes sense. And so now Molly's a part of the family.
Wow. You're lucky your dad has a good heart.
He does. He
When he
loves.
was like, "Nah, I don't care. Get rid of that dog," you'd be like, "What are you gonna do, bro?" You know?
Yeah. And so, I mean, yeah. So she's terrorizing the yard. Abby's clearly the apex.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got a mouth on her, Abby. She yells.
It's the Chihuahua.
Yeah. She's definitely the alpha.
Hmm.
And it's weird because they'll fight on the couch, and she's very vocal, so she starts like growling and screaming at Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Molly just has her mouth open, like
Really?
yeah, and yeah.
She's like, "I'm not even gonna talk, bro. I'm gonna bite you if you." Have they ever gotten in any fights or anything, or?
They have, but not like not serious fights, just like play fights.
Hmm.
And Molly figure out how to piss off Abby, and that's by Molly will put her paw on her, and that just gets like, and she knows that she'll wake Abby out of a dead sleep and do it.
Really?
Just to instigate something.
Like, talk to me,
Yeah.
play with me. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like somebody I know. I'm just kidding.
But yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. That's pretty funny. So how is she doing now? Is she fully healed? Is she
Yeah,
running
she's fully
around?
healed now. Timmy and I are thinking about going on a hike tomorrow with her and Nova.
Okay, well, that's cool.
And so
Is she getting bigger? Cause
she's super big now.
really, is she
She's
like
almost full grown.
what?
Yeah, you have to see her.
Wow. Hey, we're getting someone's calling me on my phone, but wrong line, dude. If you wanna talk to me, you gotta talk to me here on the radio.
You gotta talk on the radio.
888-909-1050.
There's
Ain't no shame, ain't no game. Listen, I want to talk to you guys about a who happened? Oh, ain't
there
no
we go.
sunshine when she
Yeah, little Bill Withers.
Do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, you know, me and Kyle, we went to Big Al's in Ontario this past week.
We did.
And
It was fun.
yeah, it was fun. If you guys don't know what Big Al's is, it's kind of like Dave and Buster's, kind of like Round One. They have bowling, pool table.
Yeah.
They have a game. Now look, okay, so my engineer, he's gone, so he's not going to be able to press the button. But it's an actual game called Asshole, okay? Beep. And basically it's like cornhole, but it's on the wall. And you throw, bean bags in the hole, and if it, so on and so forth. You guys get the idea. Anyways, they also have like video games, arcade games, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And me and Kyle were killing it, dude.
Yeah, we were going back and forth, not gonna lie.
Yeah, and we're having a good time. But you know what? I was like, man, okay, so I go up. I'm doing this for Timmy, So I show up. I was like, all right, I'm going to budget myself. I'm not going to spend that much. And I met you, and you're like, oh, yeah, dude, the food prices are fair, which they were. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, not bad. So I spent a little less than $20 on like my own, personal 9-inch pizza. They load it with like your meats and cheese and stuff. But they don't budge you on that.
It's a very good tavern style pizza.
Yeah, it's not bad. And so there's probably like probably a handful of us, like I would say like 10 of us, and we got one lane for bowling. And then people were like, hey, someone else grab another lane so we can all like bowl together. I was like, okay, sounds good. And everyone's just like looking around like clueless. I was like, all right, I'll get us a lane, no problem. I would say that was the only thing. I have no other complaints besides that. The food was good. I didn't drink or anything. I had water. Everything was good except for the bowling price. I was like, what? Bowling's how much? Like, when I put my name in and then like I came up and then they charged me my card, I was gonna deny it. I was like, no.
How much?
Bro, for one game, we're talking $60.
What?
Bro, we can go to Empire Bowl and play for like $5.
Yeah.
Plus $2 with shoes. You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
I was low-key kind of heated at first, but then, they're like, hey, let's play again, and then someone else bought a round. Yes, bro. So I was like, hey. So someone else bought a round, so I felt a little better. It wasn't just me, taking my money out, whatever. And then we had a blast. We played a bunch of games. We celebrated Timmy's birthday. We played some pool. We played some beanbag games. It was a really good time. I got to meet a lot of his friends from work.
Yeah.
Your boy Solomon, he was here last week.
Yep,
he came through.
He did.
So that was pretty fun. They had the VR stuff set up. It was a pretty big place. It was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, so
It's in Ontario.
it's called Big Al.
Yeah, Big Al's.
Yeah. So it's like a bigger version of Dave and Buster's. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. But anyway, so it's 15 minutes past the hour, you guys. You guys listen to Whatever Works. My name is Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And we're just chopping it up tonight. I do want to give you guys a little heads up. I know a lot of you guys liked the segment with the Escaping the Cult. So we have another good one next week. I'll actually read you guys the article. It's honestly really tragic. However, when it comes to news, if it bleeds, it leads, right? So okay. That's why when you turn on the news, it's always bad stuff. Like they never like if it's something good, it's always like puppy related or it's like it's ridiculous. But anyways, yeah, exactly. So I have this lady. She made it to the L.A. Times magazine in 1987. She's an older woman now. She has a husband, but she can't have kids, and I'll explain to you guys why. I'm gonna read you guys the article. So hopefully you guys want to stay next tune. She's gonna be here in the studio with her husband, and we're just gonna be talking about what happened to her when she was a little girl. So here's the article. A Montclair girl clung to her life Monday as the only survivor of a family tragedy in which a woman apparently shot her husband, 3-year-old twin sons, and herself to death, police reported. Detectives said it appeared that Leslie Copeland, 33, arrived home late Friday night and shot her husband, Robert Lee Copeland, 36, in the temple as he slept. The bodies of the couple's sons, Jonathan and Jeffrey, were found in another room. Their daughter, Cassandra, who's going to be coming in next week, 6 years old, was wounded in the abdomen and apparently rolled off her father's bed onto the floor, police said. She laid there until a relative forced his way into the house Sunday afternoon, about 40 hours after the shootings. The mother's body was found on the floor of the master bedroom. Investigators said next to her was a handgun. Police said Cassandra was in serious condition at Loma Linda University Medical Center, but a spokeswoman there declined to say anything about the child, citing a request by relatives for confidentiality. The little girl is still alive. Montclair Police Sergeant Vince Leon said Monday. Last night, she was conscious and talking. She couldn't say what happened. Her statement is that she's been in a bad dream. Leon says officers found a note apparently written by the mother, but it was not specific as to what the problem was. He added, however, that there were reports that the family had been having financial problems. Neighbors on both sides of the home at 4861 Main Street, I don't know if I should have gave that, in the quiet middle-class neighborhood told about...
Let's just dox everybody, Sam.
In the middle-class neighborhood told about hearing shots, but Leon said they did not agree on whether that was shortly before or shortly after Friday midnight. Relatives reportedly went to the house on Saturday but could not get an answer at the door. On Sunday, police said a brother of Robert Copeland climbed in through a back window to discover the bodies and the wounded girl.
Wow.
So
next week.
Yeah, so next week it's going to be her and her husband. We're going to come through. And I want to get Sergeant, what was it, Sergeant Vince or something like that. I want to get that person also on the show, because it will give like his side of the story as well, you know. But when I was talking to her on the show, I was like, "Hey, is this okay for us to talk about? Like, are you okay coming down and talking about the story?" And she's like, "Yes, it's fine." But in her voice, it was like very hesitant, because it's very sad. Like in the report, it says that to her it was a bad dream.
Yeah.
Like that's how much trauma it brought to that little 6-year-old girl. Yeah. You know, and now she's roughly like in her 30s.
Yeah.
And you know, she has a husband, she has her own home, which is great, fantastic, because a lot of times when people go through that type of trauma stuff, it's really hard to get back on your feet.
Yeah.
You know, especially as like a little girl, like what do you do? Like who's going to take you and who's going to take care of you, you know? So that is something that if you guys are interested, if you guys have any questions about that, you know, feel free next week, okay? Sunday, same time, 7 p.m. She's going to be here live in the studio. You guys can, if she's willing to, you know, you can ask her questions or anything like that. And obviously it's going to be like what happened, but like I also want to know like the background, like how did you survive this mentally and physically? Yeah. You know, what's your philosophy on life, and how did it make you a better person per se? I mean, it's really hard to tell, especially when that affects you at such a young age. Like, right. If that happened when she was older, then it can be like, okay, how did that affect your life? But right, now it's like it affects her in a way where it's kind of almost irrelevant because of how young she was. You know, it's kind of like, and I'm not no psychologist. This is just all in my head. So if I'm wrong, or if this is like judgmental or controversial, hey guys, come talk to me. You know, this is open. This is on the radio, so it's all fun and games. But to me, I feel like, you know, if you're younger and someone had a cat, and your parents like, hey, that's a dog, you know, then that's how you grow up, you know. So for her being so young and living without a parents and like living in this type of way,
Yeah.
like it's not. I'm not saying it affected her because obviously it did, but if it would have happened later in life, I think that would have made like a more bigger impact, you know, because now she has to adjust. When she was 6 years old, like yes, that must have been tough, but I feel like it's just two different things, you know.
Well, I think like they say the first 5 years of a child's life is the most important,
Hmm.
and so to develop something like that at a very young age is very detrimental,
Definitely, yeah.
and so that kind of skews your own personal perspectives. What is normal? What is okay?
Right.
You know, you start seeing TV shows that like normalize it. You see TV shows or movies that that have the same type of story. For her growing up, how does that make her feel?
Hmm.
And so, I think next week's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good discussion. It's definitely going to be emotional.
Right.
It's definitely going to be a brain exercise for us.
And for her too,
Yeah,
you know. But
and her
I just
too.
I just hope that it provides some type of like
Relief,
relief,
yeah,
therapeutic help, you know, because
definitely. It definitely helped. Our homegirl that came on who talked about the cult.
right, yeah, yeah.
You know,
How's she doing? Have you keep in touch with her
I
or?
have, I have. She's doing all right. She's living up north.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
she's
good
good.
that you didn't give like a specific location, because then you never know, those cult members like come back and be like, hey,
You never know, bro.
you
You
never
never
know.
know.
Up north,
And
really,
then we
she's down
had,
south. But
and yeah, and then Canon talk about how he was kidnapped at a young age
mm.
and didn't know about it. You remember that one?
Yes, yes, yes,
That was
yes.
crazy too.
That was pretty intense. And it's real, dude. It's out there. Like things happen to these people. It's crazy.
I might have a priest come on. I'm still waiting to. We're playing phone tag right now,
Okay.
but he's a Catholic priest that claims to have done some exorcisms,
Ah,
and so he kind of wants to talk about that.
dude, that would be pretty deep. I'm not gonna lie. It would be even cooler if we had one of the people that he,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and have them come on and talk about their little
Um,
experience.
my grandpa had a story. He said he witnessed one when he was little.
Uh, exorcism.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Do you want to hear the story?
Yeah, I mean we got 5 minutes till break, but tell it, man.
So my grandpa, as some people know, I'm half Mexican. My grandpa on my mom's side
Is that
is
really?
he was born in Guerrero, Mexico, and so growing up, he used to walk home from school, and we lived on a farm, but his neighbor, he said that he heard screaming at night, and he went to go feed the cows or do something at night, huh? And
That's what it
so
was. Gotcha.
something happened. He was out like around midnight, 1 a.m., and there were flashing lights and like screaming. And so he ran to the neighbor's house. And I think he was like 12 or 13 at the time and came in. And the mom, so it was a mom and a dad and a daughter. And so the mom was like, "Mijo, I need you to go home. There's something happening to our daughter. And there's evil here. I don't want you here." And my grandpa's like, "Oh, I kind of want to see." And so he snuck around the mom. He pretended to leave and then came back. Snuck around the mom,
Kids are savages.
went in the bedroom, and he said he saw a priest or two priests. There was one in a black, and then there was like an associate priest, like a regular priest, like in regular priest clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because there's always two of them, Yeah, and so, and then the dad, and they're all shouting in Latin. And the daughter's just like, "What?" in the bed, and my grandpa ran out of the house. That's what
Really?
he told me. Yeah, yeah.
That is
He was like 13.
Is that valid? Yeah.
And so, yeah, there was, he had a cross, or the priest had the cross, and it was like glowing. He said it was like glowing, like bright, like looking into the sun.
This guy had like an LED.
I don't know. This was back then.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my grandpa was 13. He was born in 1938.
Wow.
So this was in the 50s. But anyway, yeah, in Mexico, on a farm just outside Guerrero. And yeah, he said he witnessed one. It was crazy.
And, see, I don't have no demon stories or anything like that, but I had like some weird, I had some stories, I don't think nothing.
I got a
I don't think anything could top it, I just had it was so ironic. I had some ironic stories, where these two guys, they were running from the cops, right? We're coming home on a Sunday, and there's helicopters. This is midday, bro. Helicopters. And we hit our exit, and this cop was talking to a guy outside of his van, and he's pointing in the direction of our house, which is like 2 miles away from the exit, right? And I remember telling my brothers, I'm like, bro, what if they're pointing at our house? And then the odds of that are slim to none, right? But our house had these bushes going across the whole front.
I remember
to
that.
to cover the house. And so we just come home from church. We get out. My dad's home, but there's two guys in the front porch, tatted, bloodshot eyes. They looked tired, bro. They looked fatigued. And we show up, and they're on our front porch, and they're like, hey, can we borrow a phone? Like, da-da-da-da-da. And we're like, my mom was like, hold on. So grabs my dad, and she's like, honey, just, are your friends here? Like, there's two guys in the front porch. And my dad looks, he's like, those ain't my friends, right?
Yeah.
So he grabs his gun, puts it behind his back. He's like, kids, go to your sister's room, because it's like the farthest room in the house from the porch. You know? He's like, go down, lay down, stay away from windows. We're like, dang. Something's about to happen,
Yeah.
So these guys were telling my dad, like, hey, can we borrow a cell phone? My ex or my girlfriend, she just kicked me out of the house, da-da-da-da. They needed a call or something, right? So we're laying down in the room, and, bro, you just hear sirens, just a lot of them, and then you hear dogs barking. We didn't have dogs, dude. It was the K-9 officers that had dogs.
Yeah.
And you just hear barking, yelling, and screaming, and just we didn't hear any gunshots, which is good, you know what I mean? But we went outside, and there was blood on the porch. These two guys, they said that they were running from the cops for over 2 hours, and they went to our house to hide. But then my dad had my mom call the cops, and they got arrested. Didn't see them after that. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
But that was pretty crazy. And then because we were just talking about people running away and stuff, from your little cult. I have a story with my buddies who ran away, and they're little goofballs. I don't know why they did it, but we'll talk about that when we come back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's 30 minutes past the hour. We have about 25 minutes left, but when we come back, we're gonna be talking about our own past histories of some funny stuff, some scary stuff. We'll keep it going.
Yeah.
You guys listen to Whatever Works. I'm Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And we'll be right back in about 5 minutes. Stay tuned.
Feeling good, like I should. Never stress.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. Mark your calendars and buy some eye protection, because on August 21st, 2017, the U.S. will experience a total eclipse of the sun. A total eclipse happens when the moon passes perfectly in front of the sun, blocking its view from the Earth. Only a small path across the U.S. will see the sun completely obscured. But that path of totality stretches from Oregon to South Carolina, passing over nearly 50 million people. If you were to view the eclipse from space, you'd see a small moon shadow 70 miles wide cast upon the surface of Earth and moving quickly across it at 1,500 miles an hour. From Earth, you can experience this moving shadow too. If you're lucky enough to witness the total eclipse from a mountaintop, you'll see the moon shadow racing toward you from miles away. Eventually, it will engulf you. Darkness will fall. The temperature will drop 10 to 15 degrees. You'll see what looks like sunset on all horizons. Birds will stop chirping, and crickets may start. But don't blink. This ethereal scene will last only about 2.5 minutes before the shadow races on. The experience can be awe-inspiring, even unnerving, and you'll understand how early cultures would have given powerful religious significance to a total eclipse. If seeing one is on your bucket list, head to the Path of Totality on August 21st, find some high ground, and look to the heavens, wearing the right eye protection, of course. I'm Scott Tinker, and I hope you'll enjoy this coming date on Earth.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
Open for takeout and delivery, El Tapiac Mexican food restaurant in the Tri-City Center of Redlands is back. Their entire family is on hand to serve up their delicious burritos, machaca, chorizo, huevos rancheros, steak and eggs, just part of their mouth-watering great food. Since 1531, people have marveled at the miracle of El Tapiac, and now you can marvel at the great food the Lugo family has been serving up for over 2 decades, nestled quietly in the corner of the Tri-City Center shopping mall next to Burlington Coat Factory. Support them. They can't wait to serve you some of their delectable, authentic, south-of-the-border Mexican fare at great prices, served up with love. Support the area's best-loved Mexican food restaurant in these tough times. Order up a tasty meal on the phone for delivery or takeout for breakfast, lunch, or dinner from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 909-307-0017. That's 909-307-0017, or Google El Tapiac Redlands and treat yourself.
I'm Rick Smith, host of The Rick Smith Show, inviting you to listen to my show during the noon hour every weekday right here on KCAA. My show is sponsored locally by Teamsters 1932, a strong union with 14,000 members in the IE. Our message is clear. Unions improve the lives of working people. You have a right to form and join a union, so go to Teamsters1932.org and get started now.
Bob Vila here with my home improvement tip of the day. Need a quick and easy way to fasten a patch on sheet metal? One of the best options is to use so-called pop rivets. They come in various sizes, and when installed correctly, they'll create a strong, durable bond between the metal patch you've prepared and the sheet you're attaching it to. They work like this. First, you position the patch where you want it. Then drill holes around the perimeter. Next, working one hole at a time, you insert the long, nail-like end of a rivet into a special pliers-like tool. Then insert the other end of the rivet through the holes you've drilled. Squeezing the handles of the tool together a few times causes the ends of the rivet to flatten out and be drawn together. When the rivet is fully compressed, the nail-like end snaps off and is discarded. Pop rivets are also known as blind rivets. That's because of one very big plus. They can be used even when only one side of the material you're working on is accessible. Get more info at bobvila.com and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
In the studio, we actually have Ferran here with us.
What up, what up?
Yes, and if you guys don't know who Ferran is, obviously you guys haven't stayed longer than our show, which is okay. But
how rude.
Yeah, but hey, you know, Ferran, we didn't even get you an introduction last week, so why don't you introduce yourself and your show?
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, give it to us now.
Ferran Dozier. I do the Ferran Dozier show at 8 o'clock here on KCAA Radio. And we do a variety talk show from military talk, community outreach, my sickle cell trait talk, sports talk, just music, all of it. So everything that I care about.
And it's kind of like this show, you know. But I mean, his is a little more fine-tuned. Ours is whatever
Ours
works.
is like whatever works.
Excuse the pun. But you know, we have our favorite co-host Kyle here, and of course I'm out here, and we have our Joe.
Yeah.
Our Joe out here. He refuses to be on the show. But before we went on break, we are actually talking about some crazy stuff. You know, people running away from cults, people having exorcisms, witnessing exorcisms. I was gonna tell a story about how my boys, when we were 16, we not me, but they like they ran away, right? And I almost went with them for no apparent reason, just because I was young and dumb, you know. And it was crazy because that night my dad saw me sneak out of the house, and he let me go. And that could have been the day where, like, you know, they got caught like within 3 days.
Really?
Yes. So they didn't have their license, right? But they stole their mom's car. Okay, this is where they're smart though. They took their cards, right? Their debit cards, went to a gas station in Ukaipa, cashed out. So they can't use the cards every time they go fill up gas, right? So they can't trace the cards. They're like, oh, they last used it in Ukaipa, you know. So I was like, that's so smart, you know. But what was dumb was obviously they filed like a stolen vehicle, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
So then the parents were like, Sam, we'll give you like $600. Just tell us where our kids are at. Wow. And then after the whole shebang, they're like, bro, you should have told my parents, bro. You would have got $600. I'm like, dude, you know, I'm loyal to you guys. You know, I'll just keep my mouth shut, whatever. But how they got caught?
Stitches.
Yes, bro. And at one point, they were in not Arizona, because they were heading to Mexico, which was, what are you gonna do? Like, they had zero plan, which is, you know, but they fell asleep on the road, both of them.
Wow.
Almost crashed the car, but they didn't. They just went off to the side of the freeway, hit some dirt, whatever. But they came back. But they were like a couple exits away from Mexico, and that's when they got pulled over.
Oh,
and they got caught.
Man.
Yeah.
What?
But it was crazy. Like, I cracked up in the morning because I was sleeping. You know, it was like a school day. It was Monday morning, and they left, I think, like Friday, Saturday night, whatever. And my mom was like, or my brother was like, hey, bro, so-and-so's mom is at the door. She wants to talk to you. And I chuckled. Like, in the morning, I'm kind of groggy, but I laughed because I was like, how'd she get here, bro?
Did they have a car?
They didn't have a car. So I'm in my PJs, and she's in tears.
Oh.
And I was like, dang, you know? And she knew that, like, my other homie that went with them lives down the street, and she's like, can you take me to his house, da-da-da-da. And I was like, sure, I guess. And we get to his house, his dad's house, and the moment we rang on the doorbell, his dad found the note and read the note that his son wrote to him.
No.
So as soon as he opened the door,
tears
tears are coming down to his eyes. And I was like, oh, no. And it was like the mom crying on my shoulder and the dad just mad dogging me. He was pissed and she was sad, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, they're like, where's our son, da-da-da. But the thing is, the reasons why they left is because both those parents grounded their kids and, like, took their cell phones and, like, took everything from them.
Yeah.
So now they can't call them. They have their phones, you know? So it was just so devious. But someone gave them an iPod. So, like, they can still, like, keep in touch with me. Like, hey, like, I'm in this place. But they told everyone else, like, they're going up north while they're actually going down south. Because then their families, both of them, put, like, you know, money out there. Like, tell us where our son is, we'll give you money.
Did your dad ever tell you that he saw you?
You did. But I didn't tell him that was the day I almost...
Oh, you didn't know?
No, it was crazy, dude.
That's weird.
And I posted a picture, like, that weekend of all three of us. It was, like, the last picture of all of us together. So when I showed up to school late that day, because I came in late because both the parents had me, you know, for most of the morning, everyone thought I went too. So when I showed up in class, they're like, wait, what?
What are you doing here?
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't go with them. You know? So, Faran, I mean, you have kids, right?
Yes.
And you're a kid at one point.
Yes.
Right? Have you ever thought about running away when you were younger?
Of course.
Have you ever done that before?
I got down the hill. So I grew up at this point we were living in Hollywood, like right near the Hollywood sign.
Bougie.
And bougie. And something went on. I was like 16, and something was going on in the house, and I was like, I'm running away. And my mom was like, yeah, right.
Where you gonna go?
Yeah. So I packed a bag, a little backpack, and I don't know, back then it was fashionable to be a teenager but have a little bitty kid bike. So I had a little bitty small dirt bike, like.
Okay.
So I'm riding it like this.
Yeah, high knees.
Yeah, high knees, right? So I'm taking off. So I just get on that little bike and roll down the hill, man, and I start crying, and then I get like down Beechwood Boulevard, going toward Hollywood. I'm like, where am I going? Like I literally had nowhere to go, but I think I was so upset, or pissed off with them, but I can't remember why. But there was something going on that I remember. That was the day that I attempted to run away, and it was like I got down the hill, like, where am I going? And then I just went back home.
Was it less than like 2 hours or what?
I think I want to say about 3 hours.
So honestly, once like your nerves cooled,
Yeah.
you just kind of went back to your senses.
Yeah.
Your mom was like, "All right, go
Yeah, because
ahead."
I got my last whoopings at 16.
16.
So I think it was something around there that I was getting in trouble a lot.
I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
Why you whipping me?
Oh yeah, when I got that last whooping, boy, I took it like what?
Yeah,
Oh, they was like, oh, you ain't gonna cry.
Yeah.
They tag team me.
Dang. That's
They
crazy.
tag team
One
me.
at a time, huh?
They tag team me.
That's so funny.
But that was my last whooping though. 16.
Okay.
Wow.
And I deserved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know morally whatever I did.
I know. I earned that one.
That's so funny. My
earned
brother
that one.
Timmy, one time my dad was working and mom was like, "Timmy, you're gonna get a whooping," and he's like, "Is it gonna hurt this time?"
Oh,
Dang.
yeah.
So my mom called my dad,
Yeah.
told my dad when he was at work, and my dad started laughing.
Yeah.
But then when he came home, he had
Oh, yeah.
he had to whoop him.
Oh,
'cause,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
We're all scared of the dad. My dad was actually, he had this one belt he always used to whoop us with, right?
Yeah.
It was like, and he lost his belt, and he's so like sad about it because it's like sentimental to
Yeah.
him, And we're talking about it like a couple months ago, and like you can just hear his voice soften, and he's like, oh, like I don't know where that belt is. You know what I mean? Like I was like, but at the same time, like, hey, I feel you, Dad, because like I got blood, sweat, and tears on that belt too. Like,
Hey, we got a disclaimer. There's not about whooping your kids, because back in the days you could do that. But
Yeah.
I still say you still need whoopings. But the thing about it is to make sure that you're not whipping them out of your frustration.
Right.
And that's what I learned. Not to whoop from
Yeah.
my anger or my frustration, but to also make the corrections too. Like, I'm going to whoop you because this is what you did, and we're going to figure out how to make sure that you don't have to have this happen again.
and we
But
do
you
this,
you can't spare the rod.
right, and then we do this because we love you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And you'll thank me later.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I remember hiding in the closet, and my dad every time he'd be like, "Son, like, I do this because I love you." You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Arr," like
Yeah.
my butt is still stinging.
You don't understand it at that time, but
But I get it now.
looking back, like I said, looking back, man, it was,
Yeah.
it was part of the program.
Part of the program. What about you? Have you ever thought about running away or like?
Oh yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah, how
everyone
many
has-
times? How many times?
But I never did it, and I never came close to doing it. But yeah,
What? You never packed a bag and was like, I'm out of here.
Nah, never once. Never once.
Like took your favorite toy with you? You know what I mean?
No. I had people to take care of. It was either my little cousins at the time. Their parents were in jail, and then it was taking care of my grandma. I thought about leaving, but like, man, I'm just gonna leave my mom, and she'll never know where I'm at. But like, who's gonna take care of grandma? So I was
Grandma
like,
always keeps
Grandma,
the family
yeah,
together.
It was
grandma,
like grandma.
keeps the family, yeah.
or my cousin, and then it was my dad too, taking care of my dad. But I had a friend growing up. We used to call him Fat Slim,
That's
and
Flacco Gordo.
well,
Or
because
Gordo Flacco.
I don't know, he was just like he was a bigger guy, but he always walked around like he had like a light foot, so he'd always like walk up on you and like scare
Sneaky,
you.
huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Sneaky.
And I got a couple stories with him. He tried to sneak out. He lived in a 3-story house, and he got stuck in the window. And so he's crying, help me. He's facing like a 3-foot drop. He's stuck. He's crying. He's like, I'm never going to sneak out again. Well, anyway, one time he got in trouble with his parents, and he got so mad at them, he pawned all the stuff in the house. And the furniture in his bed, he moved to like he took, I can't remember, it was one of the credit cards, his mom or his dad's. Or I think maybe it was grandma's, somebody's.
Not his.
So he went to the ATM and cashed out a whole bunch of money, pawned all the stuff, took his bed, his PlayStation 2.
He was on a mission.
So and so he took his bed, his PlayStation 2, and like the fish tank and like some other things.
Fish tank.
No, here's what happened.
Did he have a U-Haul? What did he have, a pickup truck? What was he driving?
Here's the thing. I don't know how he got it there, but he called me. He was like, "Hey, I need you to go down to you store it over off of Fontana off of Lilac." He's like, "I need you to go, and I need you to go to unit 130 something." And I'm like, "Okay."
That's where the drugs are.
Yeah. Right.
And I go there, and he set up an apartment inside of the storage
He's living
unit.
in the storage unit?
He was living in the storage
That's
unit.
legit.
Hey, he took the fish tank with him. He's
For
like,
$1 the first month.
right?
He's like, "Man, I'm not living with moms anymore. I'm just going to live here." I was like, "How long, like, till they find you?" He's like, "Man, I can't have you snitching." I was like, "Bro, I'm not going to." He was like, "Bro, he's like, I don't want you to tell moms or anything." I was like, "You can come over, you can play games with me, and then you got to leave." I was like, "Dog." We were like 11.
Grown man. Wow. 11?
Yeah. He must have been like 12. He was a little older than me. But yeah, he took all the stuff. I don't know how he got it there. He paid someone to move it.
Oh my gosh.
But he took out all the cash. He's got like a roll of cash sitting on the table. I was like, "Bro, it's gonna get hot in here." I was like,
Got no windows, bro.
I was like, "Bro, at this point, I would take the beating for some AC. I would take the beating for some AC, dog." He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna live it here." And
Wow.
And one day, I don't know, but my mom followed me, and I went to. She's like, "Well, why you keep going to the storage unit? What's over there?" I was like, "Oh, I'm helping some people move." And she's like, "Huh? Well, I mean, you went there 4 times a week. What's going on?" I was like, "Oh, Mom, it's nothing. It's nothing." She was like, "Okay." And I thought that was the end of it.
No.
Anyway, his name was Jesus, and so
Jesus.
yeah, but we knew him as Fat Slim. And we're playing video games inside the storage unit. And all of a sudden I heard, "Jesus!" And we look, he's like, "Oh no, that's my dad. I need you to help me." And so we're hiding under the couch. He's like, "I can't really fit. I need you to lift it." So I lift the couch. It's a little bit off the ground. He's hiding on the couch, and the couch is like this a little bit. He's like
angled.
Yeah, I was like, "Bro, there's no way we're getting away with this." And he's like, "I need you to help me," and he got dragged out. And then I just hear him getting whipped.
Oh
Yeah.
man, on the spot.
Your mom snitched?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because nobody knew where he was at, but she knew that I knew him, and she thought it was sus that I was going to the storage unit. She's like, "All right, you don't know where he's at? Cool."
Is this the 90s?
This was like early 2000s.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Our children.
You know, I wonder how he's doing now. Like, if he was that, you know what I mean? Like, motivated and just like, he was thinking.
He probably's on Storage Wars or somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nah, he's good. I talked to him about 5 years ago.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Slim down a little bit.
Is he
No,
still Fat Slim?
no, he's still Fat Slim. But
Still losing a storage unit. Imagine.
dog,
It's like, bro, check it out. I own 3 units, dog.
Did y'all ever steal your parents' cars?
no, never.
Dang. You know my mom's listening right now.
Mom's disclaimer.
Hey, Mom, I love you. And look, I know you love me, but listen, when I took my driver's test, it was stick. How did I learn how to drive stick?
Oh man.
That's all she needs to know right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A couple times?
They went out of town,
Wow.
and I knew they were going out of town, so I made a copy of their car key.
Oh man.
So when they went out of town, I backed it out, and I got gutsy because I drove past my grandparents' house because we didn't live far from there.
Yeah.
So I cruised past. I didn't know that my grandfather was on the porch. So he saw me go by.
He's like, is that Farad?
Right. So I joyride, but I think I'm pulling back into the same park, same tire
Same
tracks
spot,
and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, nah. They knew.
Really?
Yeah, they was.
He's like, I even filled up my gas for them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yo, I had a copy of the keys though, yo. That was gutsy.
that is good.
I took my car out before it was officially mine. Just like I had my permit, but I didn't have my license. Mom was like, "You can't drive the car until you get your license without me." And so, I don't know who. I think I was with Michael.
Oh, Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, if you drive backwards, I saw. Actually, he might have saw Ferris Bueller. He was like, I saw this movie. If you drive backwards, the odometer doesn't change." I was like, all right, let's test it out. So we're driving backwards. And I was like, hey, yo, we're good. So we drove backwards down Ukaipa Boulevard.
No way, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're like, bro, how are we going to U-turn like this? And so I was like, well, we got to, do the opposite. So I'm doing the U-turn, and we're going up.
Serious?
Yeah, we never got caught, like, by the cops or anything. It was weird. Finally got home. I parked it in. And my mom came home from her trip. She's like, you take the car out? I was like, no. So I'm going to check the odometer. I was like, okay. and she comes back in the house, and she's like, we're good. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you telling me it didn't increase?
No, not at all. It did not. And a Dodge Neon does not increase. Yeah.
The old Dodge Neon, ladies and gentlemen. The Dodge
Doesn't
Neon.
go
You're
up.
more of a rebel than I thought, man. And I thought he was a good kid on my brother's group.
He's
right?
warming up. He's warming up.
Yeah.
Driving backwards on Ukaipa Boulevard.
Oh my god.
He has some skills, huh?
Yeah, it was hard. And I kept getting an argument with Michael. I was like, Michael, I need you to look forward while I look back.
He's looking back to you.
Yeah. I was like, I need you to stop looking back. I need you to look forward. I can't I can't rear end anybody or have someone rear end me. So I was like, I need you to look forward while I drive backwards. He's like, okay.
Look, hey, if you guys enjoyed this show, keep listening. Every Sunday night at 7, baby. You guys listen to Whatever Works on KCAA. I'm Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
Ferran Dozier.
And he starts at 8.